Hi, I'm John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy with another Global Real Estate School podcast. Welcome to the podcast. I'm John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy, and this is episode 048. We've been talking about tenancies, specifically non-freehold estates. Remember, if you see the word freehold, that has to do with an ownership interest. If you see non-freehold, N-O-N, non-freehold estate, then we are talking about leasehold estates or leases and the rights tenants have in properties. Now, we talked on our last podcast about an estate for years or a tenancy for years. And there were two things I told you to remember. Has to have a beginning date and it has to have an ending date. If you see any exam questions and you can pick up that there's a beginning date and an ending date, even if they say the lease was for 8 months, you have an estate for years, or also termed a tenancy for years. Now, today I want to talk about a tenancy at sufferance. This is it's the lowest form of an estate you can have in real estate. Basically, it's what is called a holdover tenant. The tenant is staying on the premises without the owner's permission. Now, you could have an estate for years. Remember, you have a beginning date and an ending date. And let's say the ending date comes and passes and the tenant remains in the property. Don't forget, they were supposed to be out on the ending date, because with a tenancy for years or an estate for years, beginning date, ending date, there's no notice required to be given. I'm just renting your apartment for 8 months, and when the 8 months is up, I can leave without giving you notice. But if I remain in there one day after the lease expires, we have now an estate at sufferance or a tenancy at sufferance. Again, this is the lowest form of an estate that one can have. Now, we're going to talk about a tenancy at will on the next podcast, and I'll kind of explain to you how a tenancy at sufferance differs from a tenancy at will. So don't forget, non-freehold estate has to do with leases. We've talked about estate for years or tenancy for years, and today we talked about an estate at sufferance or a tenancy at sufferance, and that is the lowest form of an estate one can have. It's a holdover tenant. You are there without the owner's permission. Thank you for listening to the podcast for Global Real Estate School. I'm John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy. Go out and make it a great day.